Good morning, everyone. There's a beautiful quote that says that if you reach for the stars, you may not get one, but you won't come up with a handful of mud either. In this week's Parsha, we have the amazing story of Moshe Rabbeinu's birth and how his mother hides him in a basket and puts him in the Nile River. And along comes the daughter of Pharaoh, which is remarkable in and of itself because it's like saying Hitler's daughter came and saved a Jewish baby. I mean, Pharaoh is the Hitler of the times, and his daughter comes along and sees a basket with a baby. And she doesn't know what's in the basket, but she sees a basket, and she stretches out her hand to take the basket. And she sees it's a baby crying, and she says, this must be a Jewish child. Rashi says she saw the baby was circumcised, and then she sets into motion a sequence of events to save the baby's life, which is remarkable in itself. But on the verse that says, Vatishlach es amasa, she sent out her amasa, vatikacha, and she took the baby, the basket with the baby. So Rashi asks, what does the word amasa mean? So Rashi says, literally it means amasa. She sent her maidservant. She had an entourage. She was a princess. She told her maidservants, go get that basket in the water. But Rashi brings a second interpretation from our rabbis, which is fascinating. Rabbis say that the word amasa could alternatively mean her hand. And Rashi says that according to our medrash, a tradition, she stretched out her hand, but she couldn't reach the basket. The basket was too far into the water. And her hand miraculously extended amos harba, many amos. An amos is like 1.5 feet. It extended a couple of amos miraculously to reach the basket and take it. Now this is obviously a miracle, something supernatural. It's fascinating interpretation that she stretched out her hand and her hand extended and got the basket. But the question really is, why would she stretch, if you see something's too far, why would you stretch out your hand in the first place? Okay, God made a miracle, but why would you stretch out your hand? And the answer is obvious. The answer is that in life, sometimes things seem beyond our reach, beyond our grasp. But yet the daughter of Pharaoh teaches us, even if it's beyond your reach, extend your hand as far as it can go. And the rest God will take care of, like with the daughter of Pharaoh. And just like her hand extended, somehow your hand will extend itself. When you think about the story, who is Moshe Rabbeinu? This wasn't an ordinary baby. This is a baby who grew up and saved the entire Jewish people from Egyptian slavery, went on to bring the Torah down from heaven to earth, became the greatest communicator, prophet between God and the Jewish people. And how did it all begin? By a non-Jewish woman saying, I will stretch out my hand and do to my capacity, to my ability. So often in life we say, you know what, I can't do this, I can't accomplish it, why bother starting? And the message is, you never know what may evolve if you only do your utmost. You do your utmost, and you never know the sequence of events that may occur supernaturally, miraculously, beyond what you could have ever dreamt or imagined. And you never know what your deed will result in, like in the story of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu not only saved the Jewish people, but became Rabbeinu, our greatest teacher of Torah. There's a true story, and this has been documented in films and in writing. In 2001, August 9th, there was a terrible terrorist attack in Yerushalayim in the Sbarro pizza shop. 15 people were killed when a terrorist walked into a pizza shop in Yerushalayim and blew himself up. And there's a true story that there was a man who came into the pizza shop. He was in a rush. He had to get to work. And he went over to the guy in front. He says, listen, I'm running. Could I go ahead of you? And the guy said, sure, go ahead. He went ahead, he got his pizza, grabbed it, headed out the door. The minute he stepped out of the door, the terrorist blew up the pizza shop. The guy was like, oh my gosh. The guy who gave me his spot would have been out the door, and he's in there because of that. So the guy waited till the paramedics came, and when he saw the guy being wheeled out on a stretcher into the ambulance, he said, can I ride with him? He went with him to Shari Tzedek Hospital, and he stayed at his bedside. Thankfully, the guy wasn't seriously wounded. He had some bruises, some cuts. Within a few days, he was released from the hospital, and they became close friends. Now, this guy who gave up his spot happened to be an American tourist. So he said, I'm going back to America. He says, really? He says, I'm coming to America next month. I have to come to America for business. He says, great. Let me know when your flight's coming in. I'm going to pick you up, take you around. You'll be my guest. They formed a very close friendship. That day, his flight was coming in at 10 o'clock. He went to the airport to pick him up. and take him around. And then they're in the car, and they hear the news. Twin Towers were blown up. And this guy, this American tourist who picked up this guy from the airport, worked on the 86th floor of the Twin Towers. Had he not gone to pick him up from the airport, he would have been in his office, God forbid. And the point is, a simple act like, go ahead of me in line. You never know what may occur as a result of that and how that may save your life or other people's lives. And the lesson is, do everything you can to help another person or to do a good deed, and Hashem will take care of the rest.